Hey guys, it's the next Horizon expansion. We'll be taking a look at the Stormbird expansion. So in the previous video we had a look at the Thunderjaw, which was pretty cool. He was a pretty chunky guy. This one I think is my favourite of the large miniatures, although there is a slight issue with my Stormbird, unfortunately, which you'll get to see in a minute. Let's take a look at the back. So on the back it says, the Stormbird is an expansion for Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, allowing the hunters to face the challenge of this majestic enemy in a nail-biting fight to the finish, either at the end of a new tracking deck or as part of a hunt the players have already undertaken. Be warned, whether the hunting party's original quarry or an additional challenge worth greater glory in the eyes of the Lodge, this is a machine like none you've encountered before. Will you survive the Stormbird's tempest or be struck down in a flash of lightning? So this guy is really awesome. So he's obviously a flying creature, so he has a base and then a clear bit of plastic to mount him on it. Let's open him up and take a look. So we have the usual instruction manual and also construction guide. Underneath that we have the 4-tile board. So again, a connected board. It's only one design, and this is the board you would use to fight the Stormbird. Pretty nice design on it, kind of like the I think the Kaja expansion, so pretty cool. And underneath that you can see a lot of mess, so let's try and figure out what's happened in here. Okay, it looks like all the cards have just kind of splurged out from where they're supposed to be, so let's have a look at those. Alright, start off with, we have the machine information cards. So just like the Thunderjaw, you have one for the 1 to 2 player game and one for the 3 to 4 player game. Lots of components here. We've got the lightning gun with freeze canisters, thruster engines. Pretty awesome. Stormbird is one of my favorite machines in the Horizon universe, and if you've played Horizon Forbidden West expansion, The Burning Shores, there is a secret Apex Stormbird part in the clouds, and it's super amazing, and you should definitely get that expansion if you haven't played it. It's really cool. Next up is the tracking deck. So just like the Thunderjaw expansion, you've got a tracking deck which you can use to either go on a full hunt just to end on the Stormbird, or you can add the Stormbird at the end of your game and just use him as a final boss. For the behavior cards, it's actually quite interesting for the Stormbird because it has 2 configurations. So you can see here it says Stormbird landed. So there are 4 different behaviors that the Stormbird can do when it's on the ground, and then we've also got the airborne cards as well. So basically, you would use this card to decide which side you're on. So you would then flip the card over to say whether it's airborne or whether it's landed. And you can see when it's airborne, there are certain things. This enemy cannot be attacked by melee attacks. Makes sense. And then there's a crash landing as well, which is what makes it flip over and become landed. So it's pretty awesome. It's definitely a more interesting type of combat. So yeah, pretty cool. Lastly, of course, is the Stormbird itself, which is in several pieces, so we're going to need to construct it. So this is what the wings look like. So you might be able to see on this wing that there's a tiny bit here, which is like the smallest part of the wing. And if we take a look at the other wing, you can see that it actually had to be super glued back together. It snapped off on our Stormbird. It was snapped in the box actually, so it was broken when it arrived, but we've super glued it back on and it's mostly back together. That being said, it did then fall off of the table and snap again, so it is quite delicate, just something to bear in mind. Then we have the tail part, so kind of like the trim. Here is the body, which looks pretty funny without the rest of it constructed. Looks a bit like a checkered with no wings. Then we have the base. So it's a pretty big base. It's very dusty as well, as you can see. And it's a clear base as opposed to the other ones. And it's also got this bit in here to put the stand in. And here is the stand. So let's put it all together. So for starters, we would put the base down there. And then this piece, you would have it facing away from you. So you'd have it in there like that. Next, we get our chicken friend. And we will attach the tail. Right, tail attached. Next we'll do the wings. This is this side, so they can only go in one way, so you can't really put the wrong wing on. So that is the left wing, and then the right wing. Alright, last thing then is to take the plus sign underneath and attach him to the base. And there you go, there is the completed Stormbird. As I said, definitely my favourite. You can see it's absolutely huge. As far as the miniatures go, I don't think you can call him a miniature by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, really awesome design. Even just as something to put on your shelf, this guy's really cool. I imagine if you could get someone to paint it, or if you were good at painting these models yourself, then this guy would look amazing on the shelf. So even regardless of the game, it'd be really cool. But like I said, with the behavior decks, you can have him landed and airborne. It's a very interesting encounter. So I think this is my favorite one. If you're going to only get one of the large machine expansions, I would say this is the one to get. So that's the Stormbird expansion. Thanks so much for watching. We've got 2 more large machine expansions to go, so I'll catch you on the next one.